LIV Consulting stickers, t-shirts and mugs are available by clicking the link to the Google form in the video description below. Good afternoon. Today is the 2nd of August and it's time for an older style of very vague, very rambling and maybe even pointless vlog. The reason why you're seeing the mount in the way and seeing the dash of the car and the bonnet is because I don't have my other mount at the moment. I did not change my mount earlier this year. I was very kindly given one by a company to try out, reviewing my channel, which I have. Unfortunately, I don't have that at the moment. I left it behind doing some filming over the weekend, so we're going to have to cope with what we've got. The thing I want to talk about today is actually the fact that fuel prices, although they're falling, they might actually not be falling as quickly as they should be. Back in March, the government announced a 5p cut for fuel duty. I think it's 5p a litre, but that's not really in line with many other countries, ranging from places like Germany, which is a 21% cut in fuel duty. 25 pence a litre cut in fuel duty, down to France at 15 pence. Many other countries on the continent have cut that far further. Now the wholesale costs of fuel have produced some falls. We just passed a petrol station back there, which is the nearest one to where we live, and that was selling fuel at something like £1.91 a litre until quite recently. It's now, as you said, as you saw, just under £1.80 a litre. I probably will be filling up this car, or my mother's car I should say, because that needs some fuel this week, at something like £1.75 a litre I think I'm going to be paying. And I've got a fuel voucher for that as well, so we'll get a bit more off. The thing is that we've only had 5 pence off a litre to sort of help out, and with the fuel cost for wholesale falling, is the government really doing enough to offset, you know, some of these big increases we've already known about? The price of energy going to be just insanely expensive. I don't know if people are really being just really pessimistic about it, or if that is realistic. That remains to be seen in some ways, although it's not great for most of us, because we've just got to pay, and that's what's been happening, of course, with these insane fuel prices. We've just had to pay. The thing is that the horrendous things that have been going on to do with Ukraine, and one of my friends actually works in Ukraine at the moment. She's been a lot of times helping out over there with what's going on, and it's just horrific. It's horrific. I can't imagine what it would be like to be caught up in that, to have family caught up in that. It is really awful. That is one of the reasons why we have these horrifically high prices, but it's not the only reason. There's all sorts of other reasons, like the fact that oil production was wound down during the coronavirus pandemic, or at the height of it, because obviously in some countries, in some places, that's still going on, even to some extent over here. And then it took a long time to get back up to speed, and I think there's sort of possibilities of people saying that actually this has been engineered to some degree by certain people to keep the prices a little bit higher than otherwise they would be. So I don't know if that is the case. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I just like to try to get things as accurate as I can, although I fail frequently, as most of you know. I do hope that we see decrease in pump price, whether that's just due to the wholesale cost of fuel coming down, or if it's intervention. I know that Liz Truss, in her bid to become leader of the Conservative Party, has said that she will do something about it. I'm not sure if Rishi Sunak will. He seems to be far more of a kind of person concerned about national debt and trying to get rid of it as quickly as possible. So the fact that the profits of oil companies seem to be up quite a lot over the last 6 months or so, probably because of the very high fuel prices, suggests to me that he wants to get as much of the sort of tax on it as possible to shore up the economy. Now, it's not great news for some of us in the short term, of course, because we've got to pay these ridiculous prices when a lot of people in other parts of the world are not paying as high. But in the long run, in terms of getting rid of the national debt, I don't know views. This isn't a politics channel. This is a motoring channel. So in terms of that, I don't know. What I do know is running this old Rover 45 V6 is expensive. It is expensive. It cost me the other day over £80 to fill us up with petrol, and that was actually at a place that was relatively cheap. I think it was £1.77 a litre. Bear in mind, when I got this car, the price of fuel was maybe £1.25, £1.30 a litre. I remember back in 2016 when I had my previous Rover, or one that I got before the channel sort of started really. I've had a lot of it's been 8. Petrol prices were 99p a litre, and driving around in a car that was about 19 years old with an automatic gearbox and a 1.6 litre Honda engine, it didn't really seem to be a problem at that time. Petrol was really cheap. These days, well, it's not so cheap, and I know a lot of you have been affected by this. So it's not the best situation, but I do hope things will change. I hope that this war stops, because it's horrific, and all the effects of it, the sort of sanctions on people, and the fact that everything sort of costs more and is more awkward and all this sort of thing, and people are deprived unnecessarily of what they need. I really hope that comes to an end, because it's not really very pleasant at all. Anyway, thank you so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below, and we'll see you soon for some more rather vague and probably not very informative vlogs.